Welcome to Bike World, welcome to Monteblanco, welcome to the launch of Suzuki's new GSX-8R. So we're in southern Spain for the launch of Suzuki's GSX-8R. We're not far from the racetrack of Monteblanco, which we're going to be riding this afternoon, but this morning is kind of like a genteel road ride because this is a road bike. Aimed to be an occasional track day bike, but more of a road bike, commuter and everything else. So it's based on the GSX-8S, same power, same torque as the 8S, parallel twin, 2270 crank, but shower suspension has replaced Kayaba. We've got the big piston forks, we've got the bodywork, we've got the repositioning of the bars, there's more weight on the front, and we're just going to have a nice little kind of genteel road ride this morning and then attack Monteblanco this afternoon. I love how this category is getting really exciting. This was a category that was pretty much dead and then was kind of being recreated. And this is Suzuki's new input into this category, which is its middleweight kind of entry-level sports bike era, along with bikes like the R7 and Aprilia's 660. This is a real kind of middleweight sports bike. It doesn't take over from the GSX-R 600. It's something very different. It's based on their Suzuki GSX-8S that we tested at Bike World about a year ago, that we did in the south of France on Route Napoleon. Chassis-wise, the frame is the same, the gear is the same, chain and sprockets are the same, wheelbase is the same, rake and trail is the same. Essentially from the fuel cap backwards, the same. So essentially take the GSX-8S, put some attractive sporty bodywork, give it sportier forks, sportier rear shock, and obviously slightly different riding position. And that's it, it's not a difficult recipe. And Suzuki have really kind of pushed the boat out here because we've had such an epic day of testing. Normally you do a bit of miles, you do a coffee stop, a bit of miles, coffee stop, but this has been a proper really good road ride followed by countless laps around Monteblanco. Just kept riding and riding and riding and riding. And first of all, on the road, very user-friendly. This is not a radical racy bike by any stretch of the imagination. The position between the seat and the pegs is exactly the same as the 8S, and the bars are actually quite high. Some would argue maybe too high and not sporty enough, but it's a very comfortable riding position. The setup isn't a sport, except the bars are quite high. The ride quality is nice and soft, almost plush. Not got the quality of plushness, but it's a comfortable bike. Seats comfy. And it's quite roomy as well. It's not a little sports bike. This is a roomy bike. Chatting to some of the taller riders, I mean, I'm only nearly 5'7", so I'm not average by any stretch of the imagination. The screen's not too huge, but the mirrors give good visibility behind. But once you get tucked in, you can get out that wind. On the road, the front end feels excellent. Really nice feel. On the 8S, the front end was really good, and it's just been upped a little bit with this shower unit, so it's really good front end feel. The rear shock is really good on the road, and when you ride it like the bike was designed, that's a brilliant road bike. Well, I mean, I'm just thrashing it because I enjoy thrashing it, but it'll short shift and just ride it through the torque. So much torque. There were times when I didn't come back gears where I thought I should. So on some of the bikes in this category, I think I'd have come back to 5th or 4th for an overtake, and I didn't. I just left it in 5th or 6th. Let's leave it in 6th. Catch your car up, roll it on. That's good, isn't it? That's really good. And it's got so much drive. It's like a big single or an old school V twin rather than a parallel twin. It's just got lovely drive, nice fueling, works really well. And I think that's what's going to be the bike's unique selling point in this class. The switch gear is very simple and easy to navigate. You can turn off the traction while still moving. I can change the modes on the fly. I can turn the traction off on the fly. ABS is ABS. There is no track ABS or road ABS or performance ABS. It's just ABS. And if I'm right, the rider aids are not lean sensitive. So it's just standard ABS, standard TC. When you kind of up the ante a little bit on the road, because it encourages you to ride that a little bit quicker because you're in that sporty position, the rear shock does tend to struggle a little bit. It copes with knee-down riding and if you're nice and smooth, but as soon as you start to throw a few bumps in, you can feel that the shock is just struggling to cope with what's happening. It doesn't have the dampening, it doesn't have the support, but it has preload adjustment and you can change it. And like if you ride it like this, just, you know, nice and smooth, It's really good. Just when you start to ride it like Chris would ride it. Bit of peg and knee scrapage. Now when we rode from the mountains to the track at lunchtime and we arrived at the track, a track that I know very, very well, I was a little bit concerned because the GSX-8R is a brilliant road bike, and then when you get to like a level of performance, it kind of tails off a bit because of that rear shock. And I thought it was going to struggle on track, I really did. But we added some preload and we've changed the tyres to much, much grippier, far better tyres. And that has gone way better on track than I thought it would. Okay, the ABS will kick in at the end of this straight when you're doing 212, 213 kilometers an hour back to second gear. But it's an entry-level sports bike. Good lad. Oh, Peggy. And the pegs tickle the tarmac from time to time, but if you hang off enough and grind the hero blobs away, you get used to that. But I've had fun. I've really enjoyed that. And the shock has not faded or gone off with that extra support. We went to maximum on preload, which I think is 7, which gave it more support, improved the ground clearance, and I just did the last 30 minutes then with the sun setting here in Monteblanco with a big smile on my face. Just really, really enjoyed it. Some riders here have had traction, some have turned the ABS off by pulling fuses out. You can do that if you want, but what's the point? We're not chasing lap times, we're here to have some fun. And that has exceeded my expectations on track. It's a really, really good road bike, and it's a really good track bike in this category. It's really, really surprised me. And priced at under £9,000, it's an attractive bike that is priced competitively. Obviously, the big question is when it goes against the competition. I personally love the Aprilia because I raced it at the Northwest last year. I really like the R7, which I've rode on track. I really like the simplicity and the usability of Honda's CBR 650R. We've not done the Daytona 660 yet. What an exciting class. What an awesome time to be in motorcycling. I just love the fact that all these bikes are kind of merging into this class and it's starting to get really, really exciting. Here at Bike World, we're going to get a group test together. We've got to do it on track, maybe in the UK or maybe at the drag strip. Me and Chris burning round on a few of these bikes is going to be an awesome. But that has exceeded my expectations on track. It's not a radical sports bike on the road. That has really surprised me. Does that all day. Second gear. No. I mean, what more do you want?